You ever get that feeling that you and the economy are living on two completely different planets? Yeah, the official numbers are telling one story, but, you know, our bank accounts, they're telling a totally different one. Well, today, we're going to get to the bottom of that disconnect. Let's solve this thing.
I mean, this is the question, right? It's all over the internet, and it's probably what you're thinking every single time you're at the checkout counter. You hear on the news that inflation is getting better, that it's cooling off, but then you look at your receipt and nope, it just doesn't feel any better. So what is going on here?
And this number right here is at the absolute heart of all the confusion. In Ghana, the official inflation rate is now down to about 3.3%. And get this, that's a multi-decade low. Now, on paper, you'd think that's fantastic news, right? A huge win for the economy. So why doesn't it feel like a win when you're buying groceries?
Okay, so the answer, the key that unlocks this whole mystery, lies in two little words that sound almost the same, but mean worlds of difference: inflation and disinflation. Once you get this, everything else will click into place.
All right, first up, the one we all know and, well, don't love: inflation. It's basically the speed that prices are going up. That's it. When inflation is high, your money just doesn't stretch as far as it did yesterday. It's the rate at which your buying power is shrinking.
Here's a super simple way to think about it. Imagine rising prices are a car driving down the road. High inflation, that's like flooring the gas pedal. The car is not just moving, it's accelerating, going faster and faster. Now, disinflation, what we're seeing now, is not hitting the brakes. It's just easing your foot off the gas. The car is still moving forward, prices are still going up, it's just not speeding up as quickly as it was before. And this right here is the most important sentence of this whole explainer. Disinflation is just a slowdown in how fast prices are rising. It does not mean prices are falling. Let me say that again. Prices are still going up, just not as fast. So, how does this whole slowing down but still moving forward thing actually play out with the money you spend every day? Okay, this is where the light bulb really goes on. Let's visualize it. First, we need to talk about one more quick idea: the price level. All that means is the actual price tag on something, the cedis and pesewas you actually pay. And after the last few years of crazy high inflation, we are all starting from a much, much higher price level. Think of it as the new elevated starting line for everything. Now look at this. This makes it all crystal clear. Let's say last year a loaf of bread cost you 10 cedis. Then a year of really high inflation hits, and today that same loaf is 15 cedis. Ouch. That 15 cedis is our new high price level. So even with that new good inflation rate of 3.3%, that gets applied to the new 15 cedi price, which means next year the bread is going to be about 16 cedis. It's still going up. And there you have it. That's the solution to the puzzle. That's the great disconnect. A lower, slower inflation rate is being stacked on top of the painfully high prices we already have. So while the rate of the climb has slowed, the actual level of prices keeps on climbing. Your wallet isn't going crazy. It's just doing the math correctly. Okay, so if prices are still going up, why are all the economists and officials celebrating a 3.3% rate? Why is it a big deal? Well, to get that, we kind of have to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Honestly, Ghana's economy has been on a total roller coaster. We're talking about periods with inflation well over 20%. Then there was massive volatility and, of course, those huge price spikes after the pandemic. So from that macroeconomic perspective, wrangling the rate all the way down to 3.3%, that really is a massive achievement. It signals some much-needed stability. All right, so let's bring all this economic talk back home. Let's connect the dots and figure out what this all really means for you and your wallet.
It really just boils down to these three things. First, those high prices we've seen over the last few years. They're basically baked in now. They've become the new normal. Second, remember our car? Disinflation means we're still moving forward. Prices are still ticking up, just not as fast. And third, and this is the big one, the financial pressure you're feeling is absolutely real. It's coming from the high price level, not the low inflation rate.
So let's wrap this all up. Disinflation isn't a bad thing, but it's not some magic wand that's going to make prices fall. Slower growth is still growth. So your experience, the feeling that things are expensive, is 100% real. But the official data that inflation is slowing down, that's also real. The whole paradox, the whole disconnect, it's just the difference between the rate of change and the actual level of prices. And all of this leaves us with one last really important question.
Now that we understand why things still feel so expensive, what has to happen for them to actually start feeling, well, cheaper or at least more manageable? What would it take for our money to feel like it's going further again? Now, that is something to think about.